So for this week's class, we're going to take a look at intervals and scales, which we talked about earlier, but I want to show you how to uh, approach the assignment. First of all, make sure that you go to the assignment in Classroom. It'll be called Intervals and Scales. And make sure that you go to View Assignment and go to the actual Soundtrap file rather than creating one in Soundtrap to do this. Okay, so I've already created one for you. It's vital that you do it with this one because I'll show you in a minute. Because I have the questions for the assignment are over here in the track names. So for this assignment, you're going to go in and I'm going to do the first one for you, okay? And each track name has a request for a specific thing that I want you to put in to the squares right here. So if you take a look, you'll see that I want a perfect fifth up from C3. And as you go down, you'll start to see major scale from C4, major scale from G3, and major scale from E flat 4. So let's do our first question. So I want to do a perfect fifth up from C3, very basic. Easiest thing to do is just click on the tile here, open up the piano roll, and I like to zoom in to give me a little more space. Okay, that should be good. So C3, so you always start on whatever the first note is here. So it's C3. So I'll take my pen, just pop that in just by clicking there. And the next thing I'm going to do is put in the interval. So I'm asking for a perfect fifth. Now you should have your chart available to know how many half steps are in a perfect fifth. So let's see what those are. It's 7. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I land on G, and if you listen, sounds like a absolute perfect fifth. So let's slide across and just pop that into the grid. It's that simple. Okay, so let's do one with a scale. So I'm going to scroll down a bit. So I'm obviously showing you how to do the first. I'm answering the first questions for you, so I'm making it easy. So here's a, there will be other intervals for you to put in. And then here's the C scale. So we're just going to click on that. And so this is a major scale from C4. Okay, now you might have to scroll here on the left to find the C4 octave. Okay, but there it is. So I'll put it down at the bottom to give me some room, and I'll start with C. Okay, and then remember, you have to know whole, half, whole, half, whole step, meaning whole step and half step for creating a major scale. So let's make our major scale. So if it's whole, half, the first one's going to be whole, which are going to be 2 half steps. So here's my first note, and I go up 1 half step and another half step, and that gives me my second note, which is D. Okay, when you're clicking in here, make sure you pay attention to the little flag popping up. Make sure it's the right note, because sometimes this grid is difficult to see. It's a very low contrast. So let's do another whole step. 1, 2, because we know that's what we're supposed to do. And that should be E. And I'm going to pop that in there. And then a half step. So I only go up 1 this time. So there it is, F. Okay. And F sharp, G. Okay. Okay. Then another whole step again. Okay, which is, let's see, that should be A. It's the lighter color grid here. Then B, which is another whole step. Remember, a whole step, A, half step, B, and then another half step, which will only be 1 up. Another thing is that whole steps are going to skip a line between the intervals, and half steps will not, okay, because they're the closest 2 intervals that we work with in Western music. And you will have your major scale. Now keep in mind that these others are not in C, okay, they're in other keys, okay. This is the only scale that's going to be on all white keys, okay? So let me add one that's not in the list. You don't have to do this. This is just for demo purposes. Let me add one in the list that is not in the it's not in the key of C, and let you see how that looks. It's still counting up half steps and whole steps the same way. Okay, so I'm going to add a grand piano, and this is going to be A flat. This will be an A flat major scale, or a major scale from A flat 4. Okay, very simple. Now I'm just going to click in here to start. I'm going to scroll to get my A flat 4 in view. Okay, now remember you have to know the keys: C, D, E, F, G, A, and then one down is flat. Remember, flat's down, sharp is up. So it'll be A flat. Okay, so that's my first note. Okay, then I go up a whole step, half, half. Okay, then let's do it. Let's do it from here. So I skip a line and go up. Okay, and then you'll see the note pop up. Okay, the next one's a half step, right? So I only go up one line of the grid. Okay, then another whole step. Okay, then another whole step, which will be F. Okay, then G, which is another whole step. So again, I've got whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. That is your major scale, and that's how you do it. Creating a minor scale is just as easy. There are 2 ways we can do this, and I'll show you both ways. One is to just start with a major scale. I find this to be the easiest way to go, truthfully. Start with a major scale and just build your major scale as we did a few minutes ago. But now, after you're done, you go in and you lower the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th. So let me demo that. Here I am in Soundtrap, and let's say that I'm going to do a C minor scale. Let's just make this easy. So I'm going to make a C major scale first. Whoops. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I've got a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Very easy. Now, remember we have to lower the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th to get a minor scale. So let's do that. I'm going to go back to my arrow so that I can select a note, and I'm going to lower the 3rd, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lower the 6th, 6. Lower the 7th. And that is my minor scale. Let's listen to that. All right, let me slow that down a bit. Okay, perfect. Now that's a natural minor, and that's pretty much the one you're going to be working with. But just to cover what we were discussing in class the other day, let me show you the other 2 variations of a minor key. Okay, so let me zoom in. That's too far zoomed in. That's good enough. Okay, so we've already got the 3rd lowered. The key to all minor keys is that 3rd has to be lowered. That's the essential note, okay? Now, if I raise the 7th, if I leave the 6th flatted, so you see the 6th there, and bring this up, I get what's called the harmonic minor. And if I raise the 6th and keep the 7th raised, I get what's called a melodic minor. Okay, and as I said in class, this isn't the pure traditional usage of the melodic minor. This is a more modern interpretation of it, but that's all you need to know. And that's it. So in the slideshow, you see the pure minor is listed here, and then the following slide has the makeup of what needs to be lowered from there. Now, one other way that people like to make major scales, or minor scales as the case may be, is if you can use the concept of a relative minor. This is a little more difficult at first because you are if you're new to this, this might not be nearly as obvious. What you can do is you can start on the 6th degree of a major scale and then use the notes out of that major scale to create the minor scale. Let me show you what I mean. So the notes of the C major scale we know are all the white keys, just to keep it simple. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay. Now the 6th degree is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A. Now we know these are all white keys, right? So if I start on the A using all white keys to follow the rule, I have the A minor scale. So these should all be white keys. Let's see, let's check, let's make sure we did it right. It certainly sounded like I did it right. Okay, and that's how that works. So let's try that in something other than C, so you can see how you have to follow the concept of what black keys and white keys you use. So I'm going to select these and delete them. And I'm going to start on D, okay? I want to do a D minor, okay? So let's see. Now that D would be the 6th of what key, okay? And it would be the 6th of F, okay? Look, here's F. Okay, so if the 6th of F is D, right? And we noticed that when we ran the scale, the black key in here is B flat. So when we get to the B, we have to make sure we make that flat. So let's try this. So if I use the F major scale and start it on D, I get E, F, G, A, B flat, C, and then back to D. Okay. So that's how that works. Now, I really think that the first way of doing it, by creating the major scale and lowering the 3rd, is an easier way to go. But I did want to show you the option. Now remember, this is called the relative minor when you do it this way. When we do it the first way, when you start with, say, the F major scale and then make it F minor will be the parallel minor to F major.